Hello and welcome to episode 202 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now coming up on today's episode, I welcome back a guest that has previously been on Mark and Me, the incredible frontman from the amazing band Silverstein. Yes, I'm joined by Shel Told. This is an amazing interview and a band that I absolutely love. And as it stands, and you will hear this on the episode and I stand by it, their brand new album, which is out now, is called Misery Made Me, and it really is at the moment my album of the year. It's absolutely phenomenal, and you can see and hear just how much of their heart they've put into this record, and every single song could be a single. I absolutely adore it. So to know that I'm interviewing Shel today is a dream come true, and I'm so glad that he's joined me again on the Mark and Me podcast. And that interview will come up in just a couple of moments' time. But in true typical Mark and Me fashion, I always like to use the intro for each and every episode to discuss my previous episode. And I was joined on episode 201 by Eskil Vogt. We got to sit down and talk all about his brand new film, which I think right now is one of the horrors of the year. It's an absolute masterpiece and it's called The Innocents. I've seen some people that listen to the episode go and check out the film and they absolutely loved it. And I love reading the comments on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so please keep them coming if you've discovered that film because of the Mark and Me podcast. But today is all about Silverstein, and this is a welcome back for one of my favourite guests that I've had on the podcast before, Shel Told. So I think the best thing to do is to get straight to it. So here's me and Shel talking all things Silverstein. So Shel, thanks for joining me yet again on the Mark and Me podcast.
Mark, it's nice to be back, man. Thanks for having me.
I just looked, it was 2 years and 1 month ago that you came on, which has just flown by.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember exactly. So that means we were just entering the COVID
We
at that
just
point?
literally started to find out that it was more than just a rumour and the world wasn't quite ready to shut down, so it was a bit crazy. I think we
Uh,
were just talking like as normal about recording and promoting and
right.
playing shows again, and then the whole world went to shit. So I don't know, maybe we cursed it with that interview. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's blame ourselves. Yeah, probably. It was probably us.
But how are you? I mean, 2 years have gone by and it's not been great. You probably felt like you couldn't get out there and do what you do best. You couldn't go out and play shows. Has it felt like you were
Yep.
restricted and just locked away? It must have been pretty shit.
It was it was very shit, in
Yeah.
fact. What happened, man, was we put out that album May 6th. Not Misery Made Me. That's the one we put out. I've been saying it so much. I've been saying it so much. It's just like rolling off my tongue, even when it's wrong. The last album, A Beautiful Place to Drown, March 6th, 2020, quite literally the worst time in human history to put out an album.
Yeah.
And the world shut down. Like a week later, we were in the middle of, our 20th anniversary tour, biggest tour we've ever done. And we had to pack it up just about 10 shows into that tour and head home. And dude, it was very depressing, man. The uncertainty of what was happening, the timing of it for us, it was very, very, it was brutal. And, of course, now, I mean, we know what happened, but back then we didn't know what was going to happen. Was it going to be a couple weeks? It's just 14 days and we're
Yeah.
flattening the curve and everything's going to be back to normal. Well, we know that that's not right. That's not true. So yeah, man, it was really hard kind of navigating through the last couple of years, figuring out what else to do, how to promote an album without touring, which we've never done. And then, everything else, just figuring out, okay, if we can't tour, if we can't do the thing we've been doing for like the last 17 years at that point, it's like, okay, what can we do? So a lot of adjustments, a lot of weird stuff that we tried. A lot of it was successful. A lot of it was fun too, but there was always this underlying, well, we'd rather be doing what we always do. And,
Yeah.
Now with the new record out, we just toured the States, the masks are gone, it really feels like we're back to normal, which feels pretty damn good, to be honest.
So during that time, a lot of people I spoke to, if they're writers or artists or musicians, kind of reevaluated everything because everything was taken
Mm-hmm.
away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Did it have that impact on you, or were you just left eager to get back to what you love, or did it make you kind of think, how do we do things differently? How do we not? I suppose, how do we get out there and promote an album without being able to play shows? Are we gonna have to try and do things differently? Are we gonna have to try and think outside the normal bubble that's been around us for years?
Dude, I literally just said yes to everything. Like that was there was a desperation
Yeah,
that I felt that was maybe I was probably overcompensating because, you know, like I don't have an expensive mortgage and my car's paid off and, I don't have any kids. Like, I'm going to be fine. You know what I mean? But there was this fear, we all had, I think, of the fear of change and the fear of something you were counting on to, just to be gone was scary, So it was like, okay, um, somebody calls me and wants me to sing on their record, I'm going to do it.
yeah,
If someone who wants to me to write a song for them, like I'm going to do it, or birthday shout out videos, or whatever. Like I'm just saying yes to everything. I'm learning about cryptocurrency and NFTs, and I'm on Twitch. There's just like I was probably busier than I had ever been, and I was home. So it was definitely like a crazy adjustment, but I think it was never it never felt like all that great. It always felt like I was doing this more like work. It felt more like work,
yeah.
whereas my life doesn't really ever feel like work. Typically, like going on tour and playing shows and making records, like I wouldn't call that work.
It's what you
It's
do,
just
isn't it?
it's what I do, and I enjoy it. So it doesn't feel like stressful or laborious, or it doesn't give me anxiety the way that some of this other extraneous stuff did. So I think that maybe taught me a little bit about myself and kind of what is good for me and what isn't, if that makes any sense.
So did Misery Made Me start during lockdown? Was it over the last couple of years that you started putting pen to
Yep.
paper and thinking, well, let's use this time, if we're not able to go out and do what we do, should we just actually focus on writing the next album, even though we haven't had a chance to properly promote the last one?
Well, you'd think so, right? I mean,
Yeah,
in realistic or not realistic terms, in like I don't know the word for it, but like if everything is you know perfect logically, you'd say, okay, yeah, right, let's do that then. Okay, we can't tour. Well, let's make an album. Well, that's easier said than done. And we came home a week after the last record had come out, and we didn't have it in us. We couldn't just start, as you say, putting pen to paper. Like, I mean, the ink could run dry, man. Like
yeah.
we didn't have that drive to create at all, musically or lyrically or anything. And that took a long time to come back. So, through 2020, we did, all those live streams and stuff. That was all great. But it wasn't really until pretty much the very end of 2020 that we were able to muster out one song, which was Bankrupt. A song that was not even really a personal song. It was more of a political kind of statement about the way the financial world was going at that time, and well, it still is. And then that was our first foray back into the creative process. So it wasn't until we were getting into 2021, a couple months in, that it was like, okay, now maybe like we can come up with write some stuff, and feel good about expressing ourselves and our feelings of what we've gone through. And that's what happened. So we recorded the record in the summer, late summer. I think we finished the album of last year. Yeah, that was, I mean, the record is a pandemic record. It was written and recorded in the midst of the lockdown.
in a weird way, and it's not to be celebrated, but do you think that's what made the album what it is? Because for me right now, I know we're just sitting in May. It's my album of the year. I absolutely love it. I think it's some of your best work
Oh,
you've ever
thank you,
done,
man.
truly.
Thank you.
And everyone I know around me, people I'm going to see festivals with, are all saying this album is fucking incredible. Like it's on another level. And do you think it took, unfortunately, the circumstances around you to put you in that mindset to write on a kind of different page than last time?
Yes, I do. I do. 100%. I can't answer that question any other way because that's 100% what happened. Um, this we were set up, we were put in this position, and this is the record that we made. We had to make. We couldn't make a different record. And there's songs on the last album, like a song like "Just Say Yes," which is kind of a love song. It's a poppy
Yeah,
love song that's like I think it's a great song. There's no fucking way we could have written a song like that on this album. There's just no way.
no,
There was no love. There was no cuteness to
no,
be found on this album. There was no real even sweetness. It was all a product of darkness, frustration, anxiety, um, and the only piece that we had was the acceptance that this is the way it is now, and that's something we touch on the record. Is I could find my peace in misery is the last lyric on the album. That's the only thing, was this acceptance that, okay, well, we're all fucked. There's not a lot of not a ton of light at the end of the tunnel, and not a ton of celebration of life going on in these songs. Unfortunately, however, I think that gave the record a lot of relatability to people, because we all went through it, no matter
yeah.
where you're from, in England or Canada or anywhere else. You went through some hard times. We all did. So I think it's I think it's an important record, and I do think it's better than the last one, and I think it says a lot more than the last record does too, because it's written from a place of, I don't want to say more realness, because the last record is also, but I think once we dove into this record and we gave ourselves a little bit of time for the emotions for us to understand our own emotions, our own feelings, that's when we were able to write some of the best songs of our career.
Every emotion's truly authentic, isn't it? Because you've lived it, you've been there, and it must feel a bit of
Mm-hmm.
a collective thing because everyone around you's experienced what you've experienced. It's not like you're writing about an ex-girlfriend that cheated on you, because not everyone can
Yes,
relate, but everyone can relate
yes,
to this album because they've gone through the same emotions on the same page at the same time.
yes, and also there's a certain amount of I am speaking for a lot of different people,
Yeah,
so I need to almost be more honest. Whereas it's like, if you're writing a song, especially if you're writing a song that's more like a story, well, does it need to be true? Right? Does it need to be real
yeah, it's
accurate, or
true.
can it be a work of fiction because no one's going to know the real story? Like, can I exaggerate things? Where it's like with this, if I'm saying something, the more honest and real I am, I think the more it's going to connect with people. And there was at no point really in this during this time where we really felt like we had to exaggerate anything, because it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good point, man. For sure, is just that this record is insanely real to us and to everybody. And I think there was a fear when we were putting together this album, and even putting together like the statement about what the record's about, the
Yeah.
press behind it, and okay, what's the one sheet say, what's the bio, all that shit. And it was like, well, are we going to just say it's not about the pandemic and COVID and our experience? are we really going to just, because people are tired of it, or there's COVID fatigue or whatever? It's like, no, we're not, because it's
Yeah.
not, because that's the truth. And we all live this. And what you think all of a sudden, because the masks are off, there isn't trauma? People lost people. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? People fucking died. People died to COVID. People died to suicide. A lot of people. We lost Trevor Strand of Black Dahlia murder yesterday,
Literally
and
yesterday,
it's
yeah.
looking like he took his own life. I don't know that. It's just, it seems like that's what happened. And we're going to say this is not a direct result of what we've been dealing with for the last 2 years. I don't know if it is or not. I don't, I've met Trevor. I'm not, I don't know him that well, but there is definitely a real effect on this. So, to say like, oh, people are tired of COVID, don't talk about COVID anymore. Well, fuck that. I mean, this is what this record's about. And that's what, I know it takes 9 months to get vinyl made. So that's why the record is coming out now and not, 6 months ago. But, that's, the record is about that. And there's really no other way to talk about it without bringing it up.
Has it been strange? Because when you go and see a band, they'll always test the water with new songs in the set. So they'll always play the hits, they'll play the singles that people want to hear, but you can throw in the set a new song. You haven't been able to do this with this because you've obviously been restricted from playing over the last 2 years. So has it felt quite adventurous that when you play these songs, they'll already be out there? You haven't had a chance to kind of go, hey guys, what do you think to this riff and this new song? You've just had to go there and go, I hope it's fucking right and I hope people are going to love it. And the first time they hear it, they'll already have it on Spotify or vinyl and they'll know the song instead of it being exclusively new at a random gig to throw in a set list.
Right. Yeah. It's funny though, because we actually did play It's Over live before it came out on last fall. We were able to do
Did it just about work out with times, did it, that you got to still do it?
it did. And what was really cool about it was the tour started in right at the beginning of November, and we put out It's Over, and we were about a week into the tour, maybe 10 days into the tour. So we were playing it every night and we were filming it, and we were able to make our video of us playing the song live, because
Nice.
it had. So that was actually kind of something we thought would be cool for the fans to be able to actually hear the song live first, because that never really happens anymore, just like you said.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's gonna be, it's obviously, man, it's tricky when you've been a band as long as we have, and you've put out as much music as we have, 10 records, especially when, like, we're playing Slam Dunk beginning
How
of June.
cool
Like,
is
I don't know
that
how
going to
long our
be?
set is. It's gonna be awesome, but man, I don't know, like, if we have to play, I don't know if we're playing for 30, 40, 45 minutes. I have no idea how long we're playing. I haven't seen the schedule, but whatever it is, it's very difficult to pick a set list of songs. Very, very difficult, to have to, like you said, everyone's freaking out about this album. Well, we got to play some new songs, but of course we got to play, some of the hits too. So it's really, really tough.
Do you kind of have a new appreciation or respect or kind of a different mindset of not taking things for granted anymore? Because I've had a few bands on like Thrice and other bands recently that have said you kind of were getting in this thing of touring and doing the gigging and, being in a band. But when it's taken away from you, you actually really get a moment to stop and appreciate just how lucky you are to be in that position or just how much it means to you, because no band has ever had to kind of put everything on hold for like a 2 year hiatus because of COVID. So does it make you
Yeah.
have a new valued appreciation for every show that you can now do?
I think the easy answer is yes, but to be completely honest, I never take this shit for granted.
No.
And every single day that I wake up and I realize, like, I don't have to go to work, I have to, like, if the hardest thing of my day is talking to you, You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or writing to a couple fans on social media saying like, thank you for listening to our music or whatever. Like if that's the worst part of my day, like, come on,
that's
man.
pretty cool. Yeah,
I haven't worked, you know, a quote unquote real job in 20 years, man.
20
So, you
years.
know,
Wow.
for me to be able to do this as like for a living, and like we said, like I said to you earlier, like, you know, um, touring and writing and recording records and stuff, that doesn't feel like work to me. So, um, I never take it for granted ever. I love it. And I think that that's why, part of why maybe Silverstein, we've worked so hard
Yeah.
to make our records, like every single record, we want it to be awesome. We want it to be better than the last record. And we don't just say that, we push ourselves for that. You know, we write, we write and we write and we write until the songs are sick, and we record them until they sound sick. And we, you know, and we put so much work into every little thing. We never take any of that for granted. So, you know, I think that that's something that we need to do, um, you know, just to be at our best. And yeah, I don't, you know, every show I push myself to be the best I can performing wise, and try to treat everybody with love and respect, and, you know, and all that stuff too. So I think that that's something that I have not got sick of, man. I have not got sick of it. And it was scary when it was taken away, but I never felt like I took it for granted. That's for sure.
Is that why you think you're still going as strong as you are now? Because you have that love for it? I've been and seen bands like System of a Down where I'm
Mm.
like, "Ugh, they're not doing this because they want to do it anymore. They're doing it because they want to pay a bill, or they've got, I don't know. I'm not dissing them because I have a respect for them, but when I went to see them, it felt like they were just getting through the songs. It wasn't like it's quite transparent for a person in the audience to watch a band and know if they're really
Mm.
sincere in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
When I've seen you guys play, I know it's because you're playing your hearts out. You fucking want to be there. You're loving it and you're grateful and you really truly value it.
Oh, for sure.
Do you
Yeah,
think that's why you guys are
absolutely.
still going strong now? Because you still have that. You still want the next album, probably that's following this one, to top it even more. You're not just like, oh, fuck it, we'll just be ourselves and play the same songs and just ride that out
Right.
for 5 years.
No, no, definitely not. No, 100%, man. You're completely right, and it is going to be hard to top this record.
Yeah, it's awesome,
I'm
dude.
thinking of,
Awesome.
I'm thinking about that now. I'm like, oh man, this might be a hard one to top, but we're gonna try, and we're gonna take the steps necessary to do that. And I know that already. I mean, we're not. Don't get me wrong. This is not even a thought in my mind, because we're not there yet. We're not there mentally. We're right now. We're excited about this new album. A lot of people are excited about it, and it's going to be like, okay, the next step is which of these songs are we going to perform, and all that stuff, you know. But um, but to answer your question, man, which was now I'm
I think
losing my
it's just
train of thought a little
why
bit.
I think it's just the
But
fact that how you guys and why you guys are still going as strong, because you know there's bands out there that's, you know, Thrice, Deftones, Incubus, they've done 20 years and
yeah,
they're still hungry, and you're one of
yeah,
those.
yeah. Well, you know, there's times like I'll step on stage, and you know, it's like maybe it doesn't sound that good that night, you know, or something's wrong with my mix or whatever. And like there's always going to be shows that are better than other shows, but any show is better than no show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean the fact that I'm on stage and there's people there watching me perform is like, it's not lost on me, man. It's incredible. And it's not something I ever thought as a kid I would be able to do for a job or whatever. And at the age of, I'm 41 now, you know, so like it's pretty amazing, man. So no, I mean, I know there are bands that get complacent. I know there are bands that don't get along. I know there are bands that are really just over what they do or what they're doing, and they're they're way more passionate about other things in their lives. And I mean, you know, I understand that that can happen with anything, you know, but for us, we're pretty damn passionate about what we do, and we do, we do really care. And I think that maybe is part of what sets us apart and why our records are trending upwards rather
Yeah.
than getting worse and worse and worse, like some bands tends to happen, you know?
And has there ever been a moment that you felt that candle light start to flicker and go out slightly, or are you always ambitious and looking for? You seem like, talking to you, I've spoken to you twice now. You
Yeah.
seem like you just fucking love it and you're hungry and already you're setting yourself to try and top this album. So I don't think so. But has
Yeah.
there ever been a moment when you thought, I don't know if I can do this anymore? I might just go and start directing music videos or produce other bands or just do something different? Or are you just like, this is all I'm going to
Right.
do? I've done 20 years.
No.
I'm going to do another 20 years. I'm going to be like Tool. I'm going to do it when I'm 60 and 70. I'm going to still be playing and fucking rocking out.
Yeah, man. No, I don't know if we are going to be the emo Rolling Stones. I don't know about that. But honestly, man, the times that I have struggled with it, if it's like there has been times when I've felt like a bit conflicted, maybe in like, where am I going? What am I doing? I've been doing the same thing for so long, but those are reflective in myself and of my own personal life and my own issues and things that I've had. They're not reflective in music and Silverstein and the band and how much I love it. There's been times when I've gone through like relationships crumbling. I spoke pretty candidly about 2016 being a really really hard year for me, and how I didn't know if I was going to make it through that year, personally, and I didn't know what was going to happen with the band because I felt so out of sorts. And it was the band that brought me back from that. It was the Dead Reflection album, and being able to write and being able to write songs like Retrograde and Aquamarine, and putting those songs out that really saved me, man.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot from that time because I don't want to be so dramatic as to say I was ready to throw it all away, but maybe, like maybe I was. And if some things didn't turn around for me at the right moments, and if Dead Reflection wasn't a great outlet for me to sort of figure my shit out, then I don't know. So, there's been times in my life where I've just been in a dark place, and it's like, I think it's human nature to be like, well, fuck everything and like
Yeah.
change every single thing that you're doing. Maybe that'll make me happy. And changing everything in my life would be changing my musical career, right? And that's and so there's been those thoughts in my head, but then I come back down to earth and I realize, okay, this is not a direct result or related to Silverstein or what I do in Silverstein. This is like my own shit that I got to sort out, So there's been times over the years here and there where I've like questioned it, and every single time it's come back and it's been better, and I've been more confident in the fact that Silverstein is my life's work.
Yeah.
It's my baby, it's my love. It's what I love to do, and it's going to be my legacy. So, I want to focus on that,
And now you've got the task of trying to top, for me, your best album. So good luck with that.
Well, hey, I mean, a lot of people said we couldn't top Discovering the Waterfront,
Yeah.
well, a lot of people think we still have it, but, and maybe we didn't top Discovering the Waterfront with that next album. And, but, now I look back and I don't even think Discovering the Waterfront is a top 5 album for us. I don't think it is. So, we've just continued to push ourselves every single time. And I know we have a lot more to say. And I feel a confidence now from Misery Made Me that we are able to, the 5 of us, when we get together and we've got bits and pieces of songs, and we're gonna put them onto an album, that we can make an album as good as anybody. And that's a really great confidence to have, because I don't know, man. I don't think that when I was younger, I was overly confident, or I thought we were that good a band. I looked at other bands and said, oh, all those bands are better than us. Now I don't know if I feel that way. I feel like we really are making music that I think is can really stand up to other things, and feels really great to be able to contribute to all this amazing music coming out, because I think in 2021, 2022, it's been like, this has been an incredible period for new music.
It has. Every episode, I feel like I'm sounding like I'm bullshitting my listeners, because I'm like, this is the album of the year, and then suddenly another band come on, I'm like, this is the album of the year. But that's not a bad position to be in, when every week a band is now, because of 2 years of lockdown, has now been able to produce some of their finest work. The fact that now we have Slam Dunk again, we have Download Festival, we have Reading and Leeds coming up. We haven't had that for 2 years. So I'm like, I can't wait to go to Slam Dunk. And I believe that every performance from every band that day is going to be one of the best they've ever done, because they haven't had it for 2 years. They're now allowed to go out there and do it again.
Oh yeah, man. And it's going to be that, it's cliche to say, but that energy from the crowd is going to feed those bands, and vice versa. And it's going to be probably one of the greatest festivals the UK's ever seen. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but like, I really do believe it.
Yeah,
it's an insane lineup, and people are so excited, and and moving into the rest of Europe too. Like, they've been so starved in mainland Europe, and like, Germany. Like, I mean, that's a country that, like, I mean, festivals in Germany? Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
And they haven't had them. So it's going to be like a hell of a summer for us coming over there, and we just cannot wait to rock, man. And it feels good too, because we've already done some stuff. We've done 2 tours over here, so we're not exactly going into it cold. So we feel like, okay, my pipes are warmed up. Our fingers are working, and and we feel confident being on stage. So it's going to be nice to like go in and do all these shows, and not go in completely cold either. So we're going to feel confident.
And my final question is, I think you did this last time round, so it's going to be something different. But what I do is I try and make the episodes original as I can. Now, anyone that comes on the podcast, it doesn't matter if you're an actor, a director, a musician, you get to choose the outro song on the podcast. It doesn't have to be one of your own. It's nice that you get to choose someone else's music. Maybe it's a band you've listened to recently, or a band that you fell in love with, and it's a song that means a lot to you. But as a musician, I know it's hard because you're surrounded by music every day. But is there a song that means more to you than anything, that after all this interview's edited and put out there for the world to listen to, it plays at the end of today's episode, and you just know it's the perfect outro song for you?
Wow, Mark, that is a tricky one.
I love asking bands, because they're like, fucking hell, I've got like 10 in my head already, and then
there's so many things I could say. And then part of me wants to like troll and just be like, yeah, like play the outro to Hey Jude. You know what I mean? It's just like,
I've had people come on and do
off.
I had someone come on and do the outro to Bob Ross, the TV theme tune to like Ren and Stimpy, just random shit, which I think people just like to surprise people. But what's the one that amazing?
Yep.
But what's the one that came to your heart?
That would be funny. Man, the song that came to my heart is I don't know, man. I have Wonderwall. No, it is very, very difficult for me. I listen to so much music, and I love so much music, and I know that there is the answer there. But you know what I would actually think would be maybe cool to play would be our cover of Smashing Pumpkins' Disarm. And
Amazing.
we did this song for a compilation called Songs That Saved My Life. So it has a lot of meaning to begin with, and there's a reason we covered it. And I think it's a pretty cool. We did a pretty cool version of it. So maybe that's the one.
Siamese Dream is probably my top 5 albums of all time.
Yeah,
Melancholy is up there. I think Billy Corgan as a
yeah,
songwriter is on another level. My
yeah,
favorite song of all time might be 1979. There's something about it. Just I don't know. It's Smashing Pumpkins are fucking
yeah.
incredible. So to have the balls to try and take on their work and cover it is full respect to you.
No, totally. Especially Disarm. Being and Disarm is one of my favorite songs of all time, and for it to be, it's a pretty sparse arrangement.
Yeah,
It's just kind of guitar with strings. So for us to add in some drums and some distorted guitars, I think that we kind of pulled it off. We kind of kept the original um, vibe,
yeah.
but we were able to make it our own. So I'm pretty proud of this one.
Have you ever met Billy Corgan and said, "Hey, I covered one of your songs"?
I have never met Billy Corgan. I met James Eha once, very much in passing. He didn't seem too interested in talking to me, um, which is okay. Which is okay. But no, I've never met Billy Corgan.
I think I don't know. It's like we sometimes never meet your idols, and I'm like, if I met him and he's such a hero to me, and if he doesn't want to talk to me or he's rude, I'd be like, oh, I'd rather just never know.
I know, I know. Well, I don't know. I've heard different things about him, so I really don't know what you'd get. Would you get?
Depends what day of the week it is, I reckon.
Maybe, maybe.
Awesome, dude. I really appreciate you coming back on the show. Honestly, I truly mean it, and you can listen to all my other episodes. Your album right now, as it stands, is my album of the year. It's unbelievable. I've had it on Spotify for
Let's
the
go.
last 2 weeks solid. I fucking love it, dude. It's incredible, and I can't wait to catch up with you at Slam Dunk. It doesn't seem real when I say it out loud because we haven't had it, but
I
I
know.
can't wait, and it's going to be worth the wait.
It's happening, man. Yeah, it's very exciting. Mark, thank you for having me back and all the kind words about the record. That's for it to be, and I know there's been so many great albums this year. I do a weekly new music show myself. So I know all about them. And for us to be put up there, or the undisputed so far record of the
Yes,
year,
there's
according to you,
7 months yet,
that's
but
incredible. That's incredible for you to say. So thanks again, man.
so there it is. There's my interview with me and Shane from the incredible band Silverstein. And as you heard on today's episode, I really do mean it. Their brand new album is out now. It's called Misery Made Me and it's an absolute classic. I've loved it. I've had it on rotation for the last couple of weeks and it's not going to be going off anytime soon. It's so good. So please go and check it out. And if you've enjoyed it, let me know on one of my social media channels just how much you did. I love reading the feedback, so go on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram and I promise to give you a reply. If you need the links, they're all on markandme.com. And also on there is a link to my Patreon page. Each and every month, thanks to the amazing guys at Richer Sounds, I have some incredible prizes to give away. The reason I do a Patreon is because I need the support. That support that you give me via Patreon allows me to go out there and conduct more and more interviews for you guys at home. It doesn't come cheap and that's why I need the support, but you can sign up on there for as little as £1 per month. For that, you're guaranteed at least 2 episodes a week, some incredible prizes like I just said from Richer Sounds, and a welcome badge which is exclusive just to my Patreons. But not only that, I have some exclusive competitions that run all year round and it's my way of saying thank you for supporting me. But I really need the support, so go on markandme.com and the links are on there. If you're listening to this right now, the band are playing this weekend at the Slam Dunk Festival in the UK. I'm going to be there and I can't wait. If you see me, come and say hi, buy me a beer, and hey, it'll be great to hang out. Please go and see Silverstein's set because they're one of the best bands out there and I promise you'll enjoy it. And if not, go and check them out on Spotify, you will not regret it. I'll be back in only a few days' time with a brand new episode, so until then, look after yourself, take care, Listen to Silverstein, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
Disarm you with a smile, cut you like you want me to, cut that little child inside of me and such a part of you. Oh, the years burn. Oh, the years burn. I used to be a little boy, so old in my shoes. And what I choose is my choice. What's a boy supposed to do? The killer in me is the killer in you, my love. I send this smile over to you. Disown you with a smile and leave you like they left me here to wither in denial. The bitterness of one who's left alone. Oh, the years burn. Oh, the years burn, burn, burn. I used to be a little boy, so old in my shoes. And what I choose is my voice. What's a boy supposed to do? The killer in me is the killer in you, my love. I send this smile